Ever wonder how to make restaurant-style rice and beans? In this video, I'll explain how. Rice and beans are essential to most Mexican food recipes. If you like this recipe and would like to see more Mexican kitchen basics, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Let's get to it. For the rice, you're going to need 4 ounces of tomato sauce, a quarter onion lightly chopped, 4 cups of chicken broth, and 2 cups of rice. If you don't have homemade chicken broth, then substitute it with 4 cups of water and 4 teaspoons of Knorr's Caldo de Pollo. It's delicious, I love it, but I find using chicken broth to be much better. But use what you have in your kitchen. We will start by adding some oil to a pan. Once heated, I'll add the rice. You can thoroughly rinse the rice before adding, but be very careful that the rice dries a bit before adding. Otherwise the oil will splatter. I'll stir the rice until it starts browning. Next, I'll add a chopped quarter onion and keep stirring. Once the onion has softened a bit, I'll add the tomato sauce and do a quick mix. Next, I'll add my chicken broth. Once it's boiling, I'll put the heat to low, cover, and let it cook for 10 to 15 minutes. Check your rice about the 10-minute mark. If the water has fully absorbed and evaporated, turn off your heat. Fluff your rice with a fork, cover, and let it rest for 15 minutes. And then serve. Next, I'll cook the beans. I'm making a lot of beans today because I like putting some in the freezer so that I always have beans available when I need them. I'll be using 4 cups of beans. Make sure you removed any bad looking beans, stones, dirt, or dust. Rinse your sorted beans thoroughly. I'm going to be pre-soaking the beans overnight. I don't do this step myself, but people swear by it and claim it's easier for them to digest, so I'm going to include this step here. After you rinse the beans, fill the pot with water and let it sit overnight. The next day you'll want to remove the old water you left the beans soaking in and replace it with fresh water. I'm using about 2/4 of water here. Once the pot is boiling, I'll add a quarter onion, roughly chopped, 2 cloves of garlic, and some salt. I'll lower the heat to low, cover, and let the beans simmer for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, check for tenderness and check for saltiness. Add more salt if needed. Once your beans are tender, turn off the heat. As I mentioned earlier, I made a lot of beans today so I can store some in the freezer. The rest I'm going to make some refried beans. For that, I'll start off with oil in a pan. For tastier beans, you can use lard or manteca. If you don't have lard, you can also use bacon grease. I'm just using normal cooking oil. Once the oil is heated, add a quarter onion, finely chopped. Once the onion has softened, I'll put in my beans next. Don't be afraid of adding too much bean broth. You can let it reduce during the cooking process. The bean broth reducing creates much better flavor. Next, you will want to mash your beans. If you don't have a potato smasher, I've also used the bottom of a cup, or you can use a hand blender if you have one. Mix the beans once you get the consistency you want. Once the beans are boiling, reduce the heat to low, cover, and let the beans simmer. Keep checking every 10 minutes or so until the broth reduces. How long this takes usually depends on how much of the bean broth you've added. And that's it. I like my refried beans slightly thick and not too runny. This is perfect for me. Time to serve up a plate. Add the beans, melt some cheese, and then add some rice. If you want to see more videos like this or have ideas on future videos for this series, please leave me a comment. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.